Hello there everybody, and welcome to this feature presentation on YouTube. I am King Mac, your hamburger pal. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to enjoy a hot fresh cheeseburger along with some delicious golden french fries, a tasty milkshake, and a nice soft drink. Also be sure to grab some hot buttery popcorn while you're at it as you enjoy this episode of TTBurger Game Reviews on YouTube.
Welcome back, my friends! You're watching TTBurger Game Reviews here on YouTube. As we're continuing the holiday season as Christmas is upon us and New Year's is upon us here very soon this month of December. And we're back with more videos here. In fact, this is not an episode of TTBurger Game Reviews, it's an episode of TTBurger Remastered Game Reviews where I review games I already reviewed, redo the reviews and make them in the style they are now and make them more modernized for the channel and everything like that. We're on episode 12 of my Remastered Game Reviews, episode 12, part 2 of 4 parts. We're talking about that snowboarding franchise on the PlayStation 2 and the 6th generation of gaming, SSX. And before I get started here, I want to give a shout out to everyone who has supported this channel for the last 7 years. If it weren't for you guys, the channel would not be as big as it's today. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you all because you guys are the greatest. And let's keep this channel growing bigger and bigger as it gets growing bigger and more. Let's keep it growing bigger each day. Before we even get started here in episode 12 of my Remastered Game Reviews, part 2 of 4. Here's a snowy TTBurger recap to show you all which you guys missed that took a look at the original SSX for the PlayStation 2, and I gave it a 9 out of 10 because it was a fantastic snowboarding game, a great launch title for the PlayStation 2, but there were some problems with the controls and the AI, and the difficulty and the fact that you could not reset a race in the World Circuit mode if you were doing bad, and it was a pain in the neck to have to quit to the menu and go back, so it was kind of pointless there, but still a fantastic game overall. If you like snowboarding action and stuff, it's the way to go for sure. And now we're going to zoom ahead to the year 2001, like around the time Nintendo GameCube was out and Xbox was out and stuff like that, and we were getting ready for some next generation gaming for sure. Before we can even dive into the next part, let's go and check on our friend Tide the Snowburger and see how he's doing. Hey Tide, how's it going? Still pretty snowy over there, eh? Ready for more snowboarding action?
Hey Tony, I'm cold right now, but I'm used to it. We snow people get used to this really quickly.
Well, that's good. All the snow you got there compared to us, yeah, I would not be used to it as quickly as you, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So, we get a sequel to SSX today. I see. I wonder how this game is compared to the predecessor.
Well, I'm glad you asked. We're going to cover that game right now.
Sweet Tony, with the name of the game, this should be interesting.
Well, Tide, here we are, because we got SSX Tricky for the PlayStation 2, and also for the first time released on the Nintendo GameCube. The Xbox 2 version was first released on November 5th, 2001. The Nintendo GameCube version was released on December 2nd, 2001. The Xbox version was released on December 10th, 2001, and in October 31st, 2002, the Game Boy Advance version was released. We're going to have the PlayStation 2 version here, because it's the only version I have. Let's get started here. SSX Tricky, when it comes to sequels, is a 50-50 chance where it'll be good or bad, or just as good or just as bad as her predecessor or so. When it comes to SSX Tricky, it improves on most of the gameplay aspects and makes this a worthy sequel. A lot of the issues have been fixed, but there are some that remain here, but SSX Tricky should still be completely checked out if you want more snowboarding action with cool characters like Elise, Kiari, and Zoe, and more. When we get started here, we see this opening cutscene with Elise saying, "This is going to be very interesting." Then we hear It's Tricky by Run-D.M.C, a perfect song for the game. And then we get to the menu as we pick a single event or World Circuit mode or practice mode. Then we see we have a lot more characters this time. Returning characters such as Elise Riggs, Mac Frazier, Zoe Payne, Moby Jones, Kiari, Nisha Deki, and Jean-Paul JP are small return here. Judges and Hero are out this season due to injuries. We also have a ton of new characters this time, such as Marisol Delgado from Venezuela, La Macia Owens, Edward Eddie Wachowski, Simon Stark from Canada, who along with Zoe Payne made appearances in the PlayStation 2 game Slitstorm, and you also have Broderick Brody Ford and Luther Dwayne Grady. A lot of these characters, once again, are locked unless you earn a number of required medals. For some weird reason, Kiori is an unlockable character this time. Not sure why. Once again, I will be playing as Elise Riggs, the blonde bombshell from Canada. A lot of these characters are voiced by well-known celebrities such as Lucy Liu, Biff Naked, and Patricia Velasquez, and more. We will talk more about this later. After we pick a character, we start off and we see some new courses such as Garibaldi Canada, and we have a flyby of the course, and this narrator talk about the courses, and we see the boarders brewers preparing, and we're introduced to this new friend-enemy system where your character has one friend and one enemy. For Elise, her friend is Eddie, and her enemy is Marisol. When Marisol's in a race with us, it's fun to piss her off by shoving her and pushing her down, and she gets mad, and at the end she will insult you, which is funny because I'm not a fan of Marisol in the game because I think she's kind of a bitch and a rude character and stuff. I mean, I'm not against the voice acting like that, but I think the character is rude and stuff like that. As we get started with the game, mostly everything should feel familiar to those who played SSX on the PlayStation 2. You have your tricks, your boost meter, and the controls and everything should feel very similar. And this time, if you push or shove an opponent, you get full boost right away. Uber tricks, you are maxed out, and you can perform these tricks and spell the word tricky, you have an unlimited boost for a limited time. And adding these Uber tricks is really helpful in getting a high score and winning the races. There are so much more jumps and rails here and shortcuts here, and it's very cool when you jump off a ramp and go all the way down. It's like, where the fuck am I going? Where am I going to land? Will I fall? Will I be fine? Oh no! Pulling off tricks is more fluid and more smoother, although trying to grind on rails can be a pain in the neck at times because you can still miss rails even when you're dead center aiming for it. I should also mention they included a reset option for the World Circuit mode, making it less frustrating to get a gold medal and a feature that should have been included from the start of the series. The graphics are better, still looking a little on par with SSX with more detail to them. The character models look better with improvement in the faces and bodies and the way they move around and more. Sure, SSX had good models, but here they look more detailed than it was in SSX. Same with the backgrounds, although it is a bummer you race in the same courses as before. They're not just copy and pasting from SSX, they made changes to them like in Snowboarding and Run-D.M.C. You'll see differences and be like, whoa, this is cool, yo. But still, a lot of them are courses we raced in the first game, but they're not copy and paste, so that's fine. Most of the game uses the in-game graphics engine, and depending on which console you should have no frame rate issues. The PlayStation 2 version has no slowdown at all, but the Xbox and Nintendo GameCube versions do, mainly the GameCube version, and looks compressed. The sound is awesome, the celebrity voice cast is amazing, mainly Lucy Liu, who voices Elise, and Biff Naked, who voices Zoe. They all do a great job, and I do not mind the new voices because they are really good, probably better than the old ones. A lot of music and Rozelle are back, and while a lot of the voice work is copy and paste from Rozelle from SSX, I do not mind that much because, it's just me. Rozelle is just as annoying as before, but thankfully you can turn him off again. Songs like Jin and Sin, Song for Dot, and Shake What Your Mama Gave Ya are back along with some new songs too. And of course, we cannot forget the snippets of Run-D.M.C's It's Tricky when you get boosted up and into Tricky mode. All these new features really helped SSX Tricky because we knew there was room for improvements that we needed. It's also nice to see extras like videos, behind-the-scenes clips, and videos of character voices, and art designs, character designs, and more costumes and boards. And each character has a master costume and an Uber board too. Collecting all stuff can be fun, especially if there's a lot more content here. You also have tricks you can unlock too and more costumes as well. And the PAL version has 2 exclusive characters too. Mac and Kiari are not in the PAL versions for some reason, but hey, what can you do? And there's more content here to keep you occupied. There are some negatives though. This time the difficulty seemed a little too easy. Sure, I complained about SSX being a little too hard, but here they took most of the challenge out and veterans could breeze through this with no problem. There is still some challenge though, just this is a little too easy at times. Some of the new characters like Simon and Marisol can be annoying. Only a couple new courses, the rest of them came from the original SSX. Jurgen and Hero are missing, Kaori is a locked character for some reason. At times, SSX Tricky can feel like an expansion instead of a sequel. The Nintendo GameCube and Xbox versions have graphical issues. The Nintendo GameCube version has button issues due to the lack of buttons on the controller, and pressing multiple buttons to perform tricks like the R and Z buttons can be a kind of a pain in the neck to twist because the Z button is hard to press. The Game Boy Advance version is awful, like one of the worst Game Boy Advance ports ever. But overall, this is a fantastic game. Just it could have been a little better, but does things better, and some is a little worse than SSX. Final thoughts: if you enjoyed the original SSX, you should definitely check out SSX Tricky. It's an amazing game, and definitely worth checking out if you want some more snowboarding action by EA Sports. I give SSX Tricky, once again, a 9 out of 10. It's the best score I can give it because it does things better, but does things worse, so it's given a 9 out of 10. So, Tide, what do you think of SSX Tricky?
Well, it looks just as great as the first SSX. Same score too, it looks like as well.
Yeah, it was a fun game for sure, although it felt like an expansion at times, it still improved sequel overall.
I agree, and it was very cool to see Elise again, and to see her voiced by Lucy Liu, and that rivalry she had with Marisol was entertaining to watch.
I agree, dude, especially when Elise calls Marisol chicken legs. That is funny right there.
For real, Tony, so what is next for this remastered game review?
Well, Tide, here is a TTBurger sneak peek to show y'all what is next.
Whoa! We have a big open world like a snowy mountain, and look, Elise is back, and this looks big and huge.
That's right, Tide. We have SSX3 we reviewed next, where we are introduced to Radio Big and DJ Atomica, and this big-ass mountain, 3 peaks and more. And it's like a semi-free roam game this time.
Wow, this looks badass. I cannot wait till that part happens, but now I must go. Time to warm up inside with all the snow we have here. Until next time, Tony, see you then.
You bet, bro. Well, everyone, that's pretty much wraps up my SSX Tricky review. Stay tuned for part 3 of my episode 12 of my remastered game review. We're going to take a look at SSX 3. How does this game fare? People say it's the best. People say it's the worst. People say it's in the middle. People say it's great. People say it's bad. Well, what do I think of it? We'll have to find out in the next part, which all I gotta say is Tony, peace and out, have a good day, and keep that snow coming, because next up, we're gonna look at SSX 3 for the PlayStation 2, Xbox, Nintendo GameCube, and Game Boy Advance. Take care, everybody.